Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Heroes in a Half-Cast. I'm the Lavender Ninja, Venka Fei, and with me today is...
I'm Mark Rodriguez here, and I'm the Orange Ninja.
Paige Mischief as a Pink Ninja.
Well, first we have some announcements to make. The first announcement is Dawn Lafore, who is the Green Ninja of our podcast. How can I put this? She has...
left the building.
She's become very super busy with her life, and this podcast conflicts with that, so she has requested that she come in as a special guest occasionally and over the next few months, and we are opening up the floor for anyone else who cares to join in.
Yes, and we also like to thank everyone's patience because it does take a while to do the editing considering how, some of us got 10-hour jobs, and of course, Don's is busy with college things too, and things like that, And yes, we do admit it does take a long time between episode 1 and 2 and stuff like that. So if there's anyone out there that wants to help us with the visual and audio editing and, put images, the voices, stuff like that, we would really appreciate that because that would make it a lot faster and easier on us to have the episodes coming out a little quicker. And also, hey, we're also a big Turtle fan. You're more than welcome to join us in a podcast too. But, this is probably not the last we've seen of Dunce. She's just busy right now. We're sure she'll be back either as a guest star or she might return later on, but I'm sure we'll be seeing her again.
And we wish Dawn Lafore a lot of luck with her endeavors.
Yes, of course. And if you're big fans of hers, we still recommend you watch her YouTube channel. I do believe she'll probably still have her Turtle episode reviews on that channel. So just be sure to keep watching to see what else she comes up with.
So, moving on, we recently saw the first episodes of Season 2.
Yay!
Yeah. Well, the first thing I gotta say, I'm surprised that it wasn't like a big, epic 1-hour premiere that's gonna be shown on Thursday night or something. It was just a random episode that they put like you usually put. So I was surprised that it wasn't a big hour special night, special whatever. It was just a regular Saturday morning. But it was still a good episode, and it seemed that so much did happen in that one episode, even though it was just a normal half-hour episode.
Yeah, given the content of the episode and the fact that we actually skipped an episode because of the holiday, it feels like they probably should have had the first 2 episodes in one go.
Yeah, but they kind of don't flow together like a two-parter would have.
That's true, but that's because the recent episode we saw was actually episode 3, not episode 2.
Yeah, that was another confusion with the episodes. So, we started off with mutation situation, and the Turtles are basically happy and cocky. They think the bad guys are gone for good and everything, and of course the bad guys are not gone for good. And yeah, and there's more fighting. The Krang want to ship mutagen to the Shredder, and during the fight, the Turtles, they're fighting in that Krang's invisible spaceship. You remember in one of the episodes. It appeared before.
Yes, enemy of my enemy, the ship that was trying to kill them, is shown again, and they get, let's just say they lose a human friend because of what happened.
Yes, and the main focus of Season 2 is that, and during this fight, thousands of, I don't know thousands, but lots of mutagen canisters fell all over the city, and now they're going to have to catch them all and prevent more mutants.
Pokemon!
Yes, and prevent the mutagen from making more mutants and more monsters and stuff like that. That's their main goal for this particular season.
Which already they're not successful.
Yes. And it also ends with a big cliffhanger that April is actually angry at the Turtles and no longer speaking terms with them, which is a big shock. We have never seen that before in any other version of the Turtles, really, where they stop talking or something.
Yeah, she sort of kind of becomes irritated with them in the OT series, but she still occasionally is there for them.
Yeah, she's still their friend, but we never seen her actually just blow up on them like that.
How can
Well, we sort of do in the 2003 series, but that's only because, Raphael gets into Raphael mode and ends up destroying something valuable.
Yeah, but usually whenever April gets mad at them, it's something that gets resolved in the episode. Now this is, epic, and, let's see how this goes.
Yeah, tears for Donnie. Oh.
Yes, Tello's probably very heartbroken about that right now.
Well, how deep can we talk about the first episode? Can we talk about it really?
Well, we kind of gave a brief synopsis.
Okay, but one of my statements and my opinions that Mark might have put in his blog was when all those canisters fell and what happened to April's father. Like, it seemed like more their concern was about the father, trying to catch the father, rather than trying to find the canisters. When they were like noticed like between the father and the canisters being around, they decided just to run after the father. All four turtles. I was thinking, why don't they split up? Two goes find like all the canisters, and two go to find the father. I don't know why they didn't just split up. That was just my statement.
Well, because there was only one of April, and there was like hundreds of canisters. And while I do agree with you that they could have been trying to collect the canisters while in the immediate area, while they're trying to figure out how to go after April's dad, they essentially wanted to get April's father captured and contained, and before they try and figure out what else to do to fix the situation.
And another thing is, instead of going after the father, they just go to the lair and try to figure out how to catch him. Like, they waste their time going to the lair just to figure out one little thing was use food, use a bait, and then they decide to go back out. But
well, yeah, that was probably just to have a moment where Donnie is pacing back and forth, going like, I'm freaking out, I'm losing my mind, or something like that.
Yeah. But they really should have split up or something.
oh, my non-girlfriend's gonna break up with me because of her father.
Well, I don't think he was thinking breakup, but I think he was definitely feeling like, oh my god, I just failed April. Like,
Big time.
She's never going to forgive me for this, or, well, I think she might learn to forgive them, but yes, essentially, she is an orphan for all intents and purposes.
I don't know if I would forgive anything happened to my dad.
Well, she knows that they didn't mean it, and yes, the turtles are the best hope she has in even getting her father back. Particularly Donnie, because he's the only one who can actually develop the retromugen, and at this point that hasn't been developed yet.
And another thing, I think you and Danza both mentioned that we weren't expecting April's father to be mutated so fast in the first episode.
Yeah, like, I thought since we got him back, like, close to the end of the first season, we would have a chance to, like, get to know him and develop him as a character, rather than have him be a dad in distress.
Yeah.
And it would make the most sense to have him, like, maybe be mutated in sometime in the middle of the series, because that way he can, like, maybe start getting to know the turtles better, he can start getting to wrap his mind around the fact that his daughter's a Kunoichi now, or a Kunoichi in training, as it were, and there's also the concept of, like, okay, what kind of protection can I offer, or what kind of guidance can I offer? I mean, we've even seen him sort of being someone that Donnie can actually talk to without having to dumb down what he's saying.
Well, I think the writers they said screw April. The first season they made him get kidnapped, and then the second season is pretty much get mutated, whatever. We'll just let her not have a father at all in any seasons.
Yeah, but we know he was mutated because he was trying to protect her, and that's what I kind of seriously am hoping that would lead to her to forgiving the turtles, because maybe Donnie tries to protect her from somebody, despite the fact that she had said, I never want to see you guys again, and she suddenly remembers that her dad was protecting her when he was
Yeah.
mutated.
I wouldn't be surprised if he, like, I don't know, that's another excuse right there. If he, does turn back to normal, they'll probably do something like, he was so freaked out over being kidnapped by the Krang and being mutated, now he's, like, taking a trip to wherever, I don't know, whatever their hometown is, and that's, like, another excuse for her dad to be gone for that particular season. I mean, at least he won't be in trouble, but there's your excuse to have April continue to be independent and not have to ask her dad's permission to go out or whatever.
Well, yeah, we know his mind is sort of barely remembers being human to an extent, but he also still has enough grasp of his humanity to actually listen to what Michelangelo is saying, and he's like, wait, what? These guys were the ones who turned me into this? Okay, I'm angry now.
And that's another interesting thing if they ever do that, because that's one thing they've never dealt with before. Because of course the mutants in the old cartoon could all talk and stuff still, you know. But in this cartoon, if they ever do demutate one of the freaky alien, well, the mutants that turn into mindless beasts, I wonder if they're gonna remember anything of when they're mutants whenever they turn back into humans. And that just makes no sense, because I think Kirby's the first one that got mutated like the old-fashioned way, so to speak, touching an animal and stuff. And I don't know why he couldn't talk. Everyone else could.
Like, the mutagen doesn't really... It hasn't really fully been explained, but they were saying, like, it's unstable and it's unpredictable and you don't know what you're going to get. Like, I mean, like, say... if the retro mutagen were to touch one of the turtles and they got converted back into a normal pet shop turtle, you don't just dump mutagen back on them and expect them to turn back into who they were. They could.
And you know what? They would probably
else.
do something BSy like that. They would probably just dump mutagen on him, and they would just mutate back to their normal turtle selves instead of turning into some kind of weird, freaky turtle monster with two heads or some stupid thing like that.
But we don't know if that is actually possible. Like, I mean, as far as I know, they could turn into something else. But maybe if something like, say, one of the turtles got a second mutation, maybe they can use the retro mutagen to revert them back to who they had once been.
The writers seem crazy enough to do something creepy like that.
But even then, we don't know if that's going to really be a situation. Like I said, like I was telling Dawn's on her comments page, and also occasionally with you at that one, a couple of times we Skyped before. I have like this feeling that Donnie is actually the most important turtle of the group. I mean, everyone has their importance as part of the group, but you can remove Leo, Raph, or Mikey from the group, and everyone will still function. They won't function quite as well, but they will function. However, if you remove Donnie, everything eventually falls apart.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that's what they were hinting at with things like the Good Gene series arc and the Same as It Never Was episodes, that once Donnie left, everything fell apart.
And speaking of which, this kind of leads into the next episode, it was called Invasion of the Squirrelnoids, which also made the mutagen just basically do whatever it wants. And I do understand that most of it was because it was referencing the Aliens movies, but when you think of it, outside of that, you're still like, yeah, it basically does whatever the hell it wants.
Yeah, like, I think the turtles actually became human or humanoid because they had been touched by Hamato Yoshi or whatever human is handling them at the pet store. So it may be possible they had enough human DNA on them to truly become a sentient man-turtle thing.
Yeah, but then that's kind of weird. So the turtles, fell into mutagen without any humans around, they would turn into creepy little turtle guys that crawl into your mouth and multiply.
Ew.
Well, like I said, the mutagen is unpredictable, and hopefully we'll learn more about how the mutagen works.
Yeah, because I was even saying this, like I said before earlier on, this was supposed to be mutagen that Shredder requested, and I don't think he wanted random squirrels running around. I think he wants his men to mutate into like similar to Dog Pound and Fish Face, and not blobs like Timothy or random squirrels or other weird stuff.
Well, he was warned that the mutagen is unpredictable, and he essentially said like, "Oh, I think he's trying to say it's dangerous," which is true. It is dangerous, but at the same time, if he had received Timothy, he's like, "Oh, this is not what I want for my army. Okay, enough with the brag."
Which of course brings another point of that, how Shredder's going to leave to look for like assistance elsewhere, and we'll find out later whenever he comes back or something.
Yeah, that's true. Like, we know he has certainly begun to realize that yes, Splinter and his children are a bit more formidable than he actually believed, and yes, while the Turtles themselves are still not able to defeat him on their own, they are still something to be reckoned with.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see how that happens.
Yeah. And the problem with the Squirrel Noise episode is that it is actually episode 3, not episode 2. Which means that there were like some situations that in between those episodes, like maybe not so much April being on speaking terms of the Turtles, but certainly maybe starting to get some not quite regrets, but maybe trying to consider maybe she should be back on speaking terms.
Oh, it depends. I would think the second episode would show Donnie being heartbroken and trying to talk to April, and April basically shut them out again or something. Because April's not mentioned at all in this episode, which makes it also look kind of weird.
Well, I wouldn't know about actually specifically trying to talk to her, because he is the type of guy who would respect her wishes, so if she doesn't want to see him, he's not going to let her see him. But I can maybe see him sitting on a roof side outside her apartment, maybe watching her, or one of the Leo or Raph or both maybe coming in checking if he's okay or something, because they looked rather concerned at the end of mutation situation.
I do hope it does take a while though, because it just has more impact if April is pissed at them for a while, not just one episode. Let it kind of sink in.
Well, they were saying Casey Jones would take 3 episodes before he really becomes an ally, so.
You know how this show works. It won't be 3 episodes in a row either. It'll be the usual.
One episode, then a month later. No, one episode, 2, and then another episode. 2 weeks later, new episode. Another month later, another episode.
Yeah.
Reruns for the rest of the 5 months, and then the rest of the series.
Well, I mean more like one episode they're gonna fight against like the Rat King or something. They'll like not mention Casey Jones like at all or something. Like they seem to do that.
But yeah. But remember, Ninja Turtles does have a bad habit of ignoring a concept that if it's not key to the plot of the current episode, like they did with April's dad. It was more like, oh yeah, we were supposed to go rescue her father. Let's go do that. Or let's figure out a way to try and rescue her father 5 episodes in, and then they forget about him for the next 10, and then they're like, oh yeah, we need to go rescue her dad.
I even said that for the first episode. I'm like, watch, Mark. They're gonna skip the whole thing about all the mutagen everywhere in the city, and remember it 5 episodes or more later. That's what I thought. When I first started watching that episode when that happened, and then in the commercial, the preview, they're gonna look for the mutagen. And I'm like, wow, they actually started in the next episode, but not too well though. Seems.
Or like Donnie's crush on April, like, yeah, we see hints of it every episode, but there was like only like a couple of episodes that really focused
Yeah,
on
and then
it.
in this one, like I said, even if it's episode 3, no mention of April, like, at all.
They're not frenzies anymore. Come on. They're no frenzies. They don't want to talk anymore.
Like I said, April isn't entirely mentioned every episode either. Like, I mean, there were some episodes in the last season where she didn't show
Or
up.
like how she just randomly showed up in the Turtles' lair. Like when did this happen? When did they bring her to Splinter's place like that?
Well, yeah, because Splinter's reaction is apparently going to be like every other reaction, where it's like, oh, what are they doing here? And then ending it kind of like with, okay, maybe you could stay for dinner. Like in this incarnation, they're making Casey Jones afraid of rats, so his encounter with Splinter is going to be like a
that's gonna be
nightmare come
interesting.
true. Well, because the previous incarnations, we've always had April encounter Splinter, and the first thing she does is
scream and
faint.
And wonder why she doesn't dream of Harrison Ford from the live-action movie.
Or certainly wonder why whether she's crazy or not. Because I think in the 2003 series she said something like, well, I'm either having a very crazy dream and going to wake up sometime soon, or this is real.
All like the little details, Metalhead appears more in the episodes, Timothy's in the background a lot more. Even the theme song now, the Metalhead's kind of walking around the theme song.
Yeah, and you see Timothy in the theme song too, but I don't know how long that's going to happen.
And there's a new montage of like all the bad guys from the show instead of just Shredder and his people, so that's interesting.
His peeps.
Yep, sharing his peeps.
And his minions.
I believe that maybe Timothy might actually try to break out and punish April for breaking Donnie's heart is because there's one clip where in the commercials where you see him walking around holding a picture of what looks like April and Donnie together. So maybe he's like wanting to find her and say like, hey, this guy loves you, how dare you break
Although
his heart.
we don't know how Donnie must have photoshopped that picture together, I don't know.
I don't know if he photoshopped it, because it looked like his back is sort of to the camera. They aren't sitting there smiling at the camera or whatever. So maybe it was like a kind of a snapshot maybe Mikey took or something, and Donnie kept it.
Yeah, I really am curious about that. We'll have to see what happens when they get to that episode, because I don't know. I want to see how the hell he got, like, I don't know. It's weird. It's like he grew extra goop that formed into arms and legs or something, and he escaped. I want to know what caused that, or how, or
maybe a failure with the retromutagen, like, because Donnie apparently does put maybe puts that speaking device on his container, but at the same time, the arms and legs, that might actually be a failure with the retromutagen.
But I'm also, that could be. They could be, maybe they give him the retromutagen and it slowly starts working and it forms arms and legs, but like it stops there and he gets pissed off and goes on a rampage or something. I don't know. That could be like the beginning stages. It just didn't turn into flesh. It just stayed like goopy arms and legs. I don't know.
And Donnie's like, wait, I can fix it, or something. Because, like, we know he's keeping Metalhead more or less as a little
Another thing is, we don't know, I really don't know why they made him a bad guy, though. Because I would still think he would still want to be a hero or whatever as a big mutagen. But I don't know. I just don't see.
He doesn't know what's going on, really.
Yeah, but I still don't.
That's also another theory I have with the fact that he was like trying to punish April. So like maybe Donnie like sides with April over him, and he's like, but this girl hurt you, or she doesn't respect you, or whatever, and so she should pay the price for what she did.
But
And
so
Donnie says, like,
conflicting though, since
she had every right to
Don
do what
feels
she did.
responsible for him and all that junk from the first season, so it's weird too. I just don't know. That's the hard part about not knowing. All these episodes are already like written out and everything. They're probably just working on the finishing touches as we speak, but we don't know anything. So it's weird how they do that. It's like let's tell the press conference that we're gonna make him to a bad guy. Let's just let them worry about, like, let them have all their theories about why. You know?
Yeah. What really worries me is, like, I think Donnie may have to do something that really hurts him personally, that with the Mutagen Man.
We'll have to see.
Like, and some people have had some creative theories on the Technodrome, such as, like, maybe Timothy has a way of has a substance in his mutagen that actually is able to help create the retro
That would help
mutagen,
too if it's true.
which is why.
But then again, that would make him more of a good guy and not so much of a bad guy. Unless he goes crazy and they're like, I guess their new mission now is to capture him so they could get the retro mutagen from him or something. I don't know.
Or maybe he thinks Donnie's, like, not being fast enough for his case, or he's, like, saying, like, hey, I want to be a human now. I really don't want to be a mutant anymore. And Donnie's like, I'm going to cure you eventually, but I can't do that right now. And he gets really pissed
like, I
off
can't
at
cure you
Donnie
now. They
to
haven't released your
do
action
that.
figure yet.
Or I can't cure you now because I can't guarantee if it'll work. Or maybe just being Donnie's personal test subject is going to be the last straw. But it's not like Donnie can, like, go to one of the septic tanks that they flush the squirrel noids into and drag one out and use that as its personal guinea pig. Though it's better the squirrel noids than someone who is irreplaceable.
I see how all that goes. That's just weird. I wonder if they're going to make a toy of the Ice Cream Kitty, because they're making toys of the squirrels, so...
Really?
Yeah.
You're gonna just buy it for me. Like, here, it's an ice cream kitty.
No, I'm not. I don't know. That's a weird thing.
Yeah. I hope they don't make any ice cream treats of Ice Cream Kitty.
Anyways, well, we'll see what else they come up with.
No, they'll do it. They'll sell anything to make money. They'll make anything into an action figure and sell it for money.
Yeah, they will.
We never even got, like, all the... Who did we not get here in our town? The different figures?
Like all the other characters. All they're selling...
Snakeweed.
Yeah, because all we got now are just, like, they're just selling the turtles and their variants, but not like the other characters like, Leatherhead, Snakeweed, the cockroach thing, all like those other characters.
They skip our town, but when we went to a convention out where we live as a toy convention, we actually saw those different figures and some that weren't quote unquote released yet, and they were charging big bucks for them. So
yeah, because we saw the Cockroach Terminator, and it wasn't supposed to be out yet, and we saw it. But yeah, it was like $30-$40. I'm like, I don't like the figures that much.
Yeah, there's some people who are wishing they had a action figure of Jen.
yeah. Well, it's a goo. It's like a thing of goo. Like, it'll come in like in a capsule. Like those old kid toys. It's like a goo capsule. Is that going to be like his action figure, a big thing of goo?
Well, I mean, the other one, the giant jellyfish thing. Remember?
What?
The giant monster. That was all the animals.
Timothy. I thought she said about Timothy.
Well, they're going to make a Timothy toy.
Oh.
He is
Well, I'm
he
just
is
saying,
gonna
like, how it's going to be the concept.
Yeah, they are coming out with a Mutagen Man toy that you could put water or the mutagen.
That was in the 80s too. They had a toy like that.
I know, but I'm making fun of the toy. Come on, just let me make fun of the stupid toy. Stop criticizing my making fun of it.
And of course, according to an interview with Sarah Nielli, they're going to be referencing that issue 10 episode of the Mirage comics, or something that makes nods to it.
Like, what do you mean?
You know that episode where Leo gets beaten up with within a hint
Oh,
inch of
all
his
the
life.
so one episode is gonna follow that story.
Yeah, there's going to be a later episode that apparently follows that issue.
We'll have to see how that goes.
I don't know if it's specifically going to be Leo, though. I mean, it could be anyone
That
else.
would be interesting if they did change it up. I mean, the movie put Raph and the comic used Leo. It might be interesting if they used like someone else,
Like maybe Donnie?
or maybe Mikey, just do something serious.
Well, like with Donnie, like I said, everyone would fall apart if he was gone. So.
Well, that too.
And according to an animatic, they have Splinter having his own phone, which looks like a roll of cheese. And yes, they call it the cheese phone.
Oh, jeez.
Like, that is so cliche. Rat, cheese. Come on.
I do like in the end where they mentioned when they were trying to ask Splinter how to capture a missing animal, and they said, like a cat, and so it was like a cat. Like his eyes just widened during that part.
Mhm.
That was pretty funny.
Oh yeah. the rodent fears.
Well, I think at this point we're ready to start discussing today's episodes. For those curious, have been watching our other episodes, we'll be discussing Monkey Brains and Never Say Sever.
Episodes 7 and 8.
Yes, but first, a message from our sponsors.